What's up, everybody? Welcome to By Any Means podcast. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you again. So glad to have you here with us here. Oh my goodness, it's always a pleasure, always wonderful, always listen. It's always a great time here with you. Oh my goodness. I'm here by myself today, okay? I know we just started off again. Listen, they love leaving me by myself, but it's okay. I enjoy y'all. I'm never by myself when I have y'all with me. So, welcome to By Any Means. This episode, oh my goodness, we're going to be continuing on in Black history. We're going to be continuing on talking about the Black history, and we're going to be honest, we're going to be respectful, and we're going to be action oriented. And so during this month, this episode is called From Grief to Blueprint, What We Build Next. From grief to blueprint and what we build next. And so if you've been with us this month, you already know the energy. We're not here to perform pain, but we are here to tell the truth. Tell the truth, and then we're going to build something that actually helps people live. We just want to live. That's it. Okay. And so let me name what this is. And so in the first half of this discussion, we talked about what's happening, what's being done to our communities, what we keep repeating, and what people are tired of carrying. And so today is a big pivot. We're going to pivot. Because awareness without action becomes a loop. It just goes around and around, ain't nothing getting done. It becomes content, and it becomes outrage that burns hot and then disappears. And so we're going to get into some nitty gritty today, because we're going to get into some solutions, not theories, not slogans, not somebody shoulds. No, we're going to be solution oriented today. And so solutions that reduce harm, solutions that build safety, grow power, and solutions that make life more livable for Black folks, Black people, not in a museum version of freedom, but in a real life. We are living this real life. We live this every single day. And so I love being Black. As y'all can see, my what's up, brother? What's going on, Jose? Good to see you. So listen, before I forget, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, tag somebody, send this to somebody, tell them, hey, join us, grab some lunch. And we're gonna get into some raw, real talk. I got one of my favorites in the game, my girl Bree. Oh my goodness, I can't wait till y'all meet her. And we're gonna share some good stuff today. And even I got my little Black History shirt on. That's how I looked before my hair grew. But then also you see my little background. Let me see. It says Black History and Black Future. We got some Black history to talk about, and we got some Black future to talk about today. And so before we get into all the necessities, let's see, there we go. So on March 19th 2026, we will be hosting another kit making party. It's kit making party time. It's party time. So we're gonna be at the LRCC, the Louisville Recovery Community Connection, 1700 South 5th Street. And so we are going to be there on Thursday, March 19th, from 5:30 to 7 p.m. This is open to the public, as well as it's open to children if you are open to bringing them. We do have food as well. And so listen, we turn the music on, we put together these kits, and we continue the work that is needed in our community. All right. So let's see. All right, so here it is. So this is our closeout month for Black History, and so I want to plainly say that Black History isn't just what happened. Okay, Black History is what we are building. It's a continual thing. And so it's not only the names that we quote, it's not only the practices that we keep, it's the policies we fight for, it's the way we show up for each other when the cameras are gone. Okay, how are we doing when the cameras are gone, when they're not looking at us? And so today we're not just reflecting, but we are finishing the month with a blueprint. A blueprint as I set the stage up, and we're going to be talking about going from grief, and it being a blueprint for what we build next. And so we'll finish this month with a blueprint, with receipts, and with steps to go to the next. Now, before we jump into the combo, and before I bring my lovely guest in, um, I want to talk just for a second, and just I want to set a few agreements for this conversation. Okay, one, we're going to stay grounded. Okay, we're going to stay grounded. We do not have to exaggerate to be honest. Okay. The second thing I want to do is say is that we're going to stay solution centered. That doesn't mean that we're going to ignore the harm, no, but it means that we refuse to get stuck in that place. Okay. The third thing is that we're going to keep it human. So we're talking about people's lives here, okay? And so we're going to be real, and we're going to be responsible. And lastly, we're going to leave you with something you can do. Okay, you are a part of this. We all are a part of this. And so something you can change, something that you can join. And even if it's small, but small steps repeated become movement. So listen, we're going to have a good time talking today. Here's how we're going to break this down today. Okay. We're going to be talking, we're going to talk some solutions, okay, in three lanes. In three lanes, there are going to be some solutions we're going to talk about. Um, so here we're going to talk community solutions, okay? What we can do locally that reduces harm right now, right where we are. The second lane, we are going to build solutions. So, what programs, what practices, and support systems do we need to create, or strengthen, so that people aren't falling through the gaps? And the third lane that we're going to utilize today is system solutions. And so, what policies and funding priorities actually save lives and build safety, but also what solutions are just really just punishment with better branding. I like the way that I like how that flowed out. Punishment with better branding. And so throughout this, we're going to keep asking what works, what doesn't, what are we willing to build, and what are we willing to stop feeding. And so today we're gonna I'm excited that I have one of my good friends, and I'm gonna say that she's definitely a good friend. We met a few months ago, and listen, she's the bomb.com. And so this I'm excited because this is just not commentary. This is lived practice. And so today we're being joined by my good friend Bree. Let me see. Let me add her on. What's up, Bree?
Hi,
What's up, girl?
how
How
are
you
you?
doing? Oh my goodness, I'm doing well. Listen, y'all. Listen, this is Bree, one of the founders of Black Lives Matter in Paterson, New Jersey. Oh my goodness, my girl. Listen, oh my goodness. Look, she gonna tell you about herself. But listen, Bree, I'm so glad to have you here, boo.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, let's get into it. What you got?
Yes, indeed. So listen, so we're gonna set the stage up really good. I want to be clear. We're gonna talk about organizing. A lot of people think it's just protests, okay? But organizing is what happens after the protest, after all of that's been done. It's the relationship building. We're gonna talk about
Mm-hmm.
that. We're going to talk about strategy. And so it's the late nights, the phone calls, the meetings nobody posts, the work that turns a moment into a movement. And so, Bree, I want you to bring those lenses in this conversation today. And so today we're going to be talking about what it looks like to build real solutions with community for community. And I know you community down. Okay, I know you to be
Yes, we
community
can.
down. So tell us what you got going on in a few seconds. You can tell us what you got
Okay.
going on.
So I stepped back from direct services to do consulting. So I am now consulting. Um,
Okay.
and I've always been, my background comes from harm reduction in New Jersey. I had to be embedded in the HIV world because harm reduction was not a thing over here. So I
Okay.
was really like into the HIV world to like kind of like mask it. But I think the first thing and the most important thing that we need to acknowledge is that Black communities have always built safety for ourselves, right? Harm reduction isn't
Okay.
new to us, it's ancestral. And so
Right.
the question is never really whether we have the solutions or not, but it's if the systems are going to fund us and respect us.
Now that and we're gonna demand it, okay?
Right.
We're gonna demand it from the top. We're gonna demand the respect and also just the moment that we get. We're gonna utilize every single millisecond of it, okay?
Every second. And it's a continuous fight. And sometimes they're going to tell us, like, you're not ready. You're not there yet. Yes, we are. We've been doing this since the beginning of time.
Right. And speaking of the beginning of time, so if you're listening and you're tired, if you've been angry, you've been grieving, overwhelmed, I want you to stay with us. Again, like and share, subscribe, tag somebody, have them to come and join in on this conversation because it's a reset that we're doing today. Okay. And so we're going to name what's real and then we're going to talk about what's next and by the end, you should have at least three takeaways. You should at least have one action step. And then you should at least have one way that you can get involved or think differently about solutions. And so now, before we get started, I want to take a second and I want we know that we have lost one of our great pillars in Black history, and so I want to share this clip really quickly in memory of the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. I'm gonna play this real quickly, okay? Oh wow! Listen, definitely have you have to pay some strong reverence to the late Reverend Jesse Jackson. Man, I wish that I was back then. I was back in time to be able to just even just see them in person and be able to just draw from that energy. Because listen, he definitely built a lot of strength for us to walk on, and he helped to pave the way even after Martin Luther King, was assassinated. He continued on the work, and he was definitely into coalition building, and some of the good trouble that we like to get into. And so, as we get started, we talked on our last episode. We talked about some pressures and truth behind this talk about the black and brown community, and what pressure looks like, and how harm reduction is being softened and rebranded. We even talked about how they labeled a lot of it, that saying that we were too bold and we were too radical and things of that nature. And then we also talked about lineage and how we can, the things that we were taught. And so who taught us survival was disappearing. And so we dove into some transitions that about naming what was going on. And so because of a lot of people can name what's wrong, but fewer people can name what
The
they
solutions are.
what the solution looks like. And so, so I'll start off with asking, um, hmm, what do you think about the problems that we are facing in this political climate, and as we are in Black history, as we just lost one of our giants in this work. And so, what do you think about those problems?
So I think right now, for a while, the
Uh-huh.
world has been on fire.
Okay.
And we are in constant trauma. Um we see our community members being killed by police. We see now ICE targeting. We know that this administration just hates everything about us.
Mhm.
And we've known that they don't like us, period, but they're
That part.
bold and they're in bold now. And
Mhm.
so we we should not be shying away. We can't be scared. And I understand a lot of places that maybe that have to shift, especially the bigger organizations that have to shift maybe some language
Mhm.
because of funding, because they maybe uh seed funding, right? They provide, so they have to be a little bit more careful. But I want to tell all GROs, all direct services, small organizations, don't let them change us. Don't let
Right.
them intimidate us with, lack of funding or shutting us out. I think that right now it is very important for us to stand on business all the way around, to continue to fight for what
Mhm.
we know works for us, because what's going to end up happening is that right now they're not allowing us to do what we know works for our communities. They want to come in and tell us what to do for our communities. When all of this is over, because it's going to end at some point,
Yeah.
they're going to take our very same models and just put a white face on it. So don't let them do that now. Make sure that you continue your work the way
Mhm.
you know it works for your community without bending to them. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. I can guarantee you. That's what happened with harm reduction.
Yeah. Most
Right
definitely.
now, we're being watered down to naloxone is. And listen, I am a naloxone girly. You
Listen,
see my
okay.
vest right here in the back. It's got all my supplies. But that is
Listen,
not
okay.
all we do.
Yeah.
Naloxone and syringes is not all we do.
Yeah.
We are in
That's,
people's lives all the way around. There's so much more to harm reduction, especially in the Black community, than the syringes and the safer using kits and the naloxone. That is just the little tiniest bit of it.
I'm looking here at the comments. Our brother Jose.
I know, Jose.
He
Hi.
okay. What's up, Jose? He said, even as a Puerto Rican, he says, I'm going to say that not even our Spanish community acknowledges how much he did also, because in a lot of places, Spanish and Black community goes and moves hand in
Mm-hmm.
hand. That's right. And he said, like they moved like Jesus did. Listen, we got to move in that manner, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's going to end at some point when we don't know. But we have to not just survive, but we got to push through all of the resistance. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I look at even the resistance that we get now. I can only imagine what kind of resistance that they did and had back then.
And that's why
And
they was walking around with guns.
exactly, exactly. And so as we're talking about this resistance, and but then also bringing in solutions now, what is the most urgent solution people keep missing? And what it looks like if we actually funded it, protected it, and scaled it. What's the most urgent solution?
I'm gonna say housing. And I know
Okay.
everyone does housing justice and
Mm-hmm.
everyone's like, oh, let's get housing, but there's always stipulations to that. I see
Okay.
a lot of shelters, a lot, at least in Jersey, right? I
Uh-huh.
see a lot of places that you have to be sober, you have to pass a drug test, you have to. So there's all these barriers before you get to housing,
Yeah.
right? And so if the person isn't housed, doesn't have secure housing, and when I mean housing, I don't mean a shelter. Like people should have access to a studio at least.
Yeah.
You shouldn't you because all we're doing then to me in my what I think of the shelters is, well, at least in Jersey, because New York shelters are dead ass apartments, is
Uh-huh.
um it's like it's like a prison.
Right.
Cots everywhere,
Yeah.
right? And so people deserve housing that is safe and that provides you with dignity.
Definitely.
Because if you don't know where you're gonna sleep at night, if you know that you have to stay up to not be harmed, to not lose the little bit of things that you may have in your
Yeah.
possession, how could you expect someone to be sober?
And how do you think that they're gonna get up to go to work the
Right,
next day?
right. And then the shelters require you to leave, let's say at 7 a.m. You got to take all your belongings
All your
out,
stuff. It ain't
and
gonna
then you
leave
got
them.
to come back by like 3 4 o'clock. How does this person then maintain a job?
Exactly. Because they may not
It's
get off until 7:30.
exactly. And they
Mm.
have to carry around everything they
All of
need.
their stuff.
So that needs to be the first thing we fund. Once we can get housing for
Hmm.
everyone, no questions asked, then we can go into treatment. We
Okay.
can go into maintenance. We can go into all that, but it all starts with someone having a safe
Hmm.
and consistent place to live.
I was having a conversation with my aunt. In fact, it was on yesterday, and we were talking about the time where the lottery had gotten to like 8 billion, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and my aunt was like, if we could give every person that was homeless, and you have to prove that you are homeless. But if you are homeless, if you have an addiction, if you were a veteran, things like that, if we could take and give that person some either put them in a housing facility, or even give them almost like a trust, and giving them that particular amount of money, and then now being able to help guide them. And as many people that win the lotteries. When was the last time that we even heard someone say, even go and do something on that kind of level? And so scaling it, how far can we really take this, especially if there is the funds for it? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because then we got a lot of people that are misusing the funding, and then when it's all gone, then we're looking at like, well, what's next? What's next? So as we're talking about this, I want to transition into into this. And so as we're going through this conversation, community, we talked about that we're going to talk about three lanes of solution. And so lane one is community level solutions. And so what reduces harm this month in real neighborhoods? Like what are you thinking as far as like mutual aid, community response, de-escalation, care networks, youth support, street outreach?
Mhm.
What reduces harm in our real neighborhoods?
I want to say it would be like a mix of community safe, like an outreach team
Hmm.
that builds rapport with the community, so more like a safety kind of thing, not necessarily passing things out, right? Because
Okay,
before we get to that, you have to build that relationship and that trust with the community, because
right.
at least in Patterson, you can't come out and just be like, here, have this. They're gonna
No.
take it, but they're gonna also look at you crazy.
Exactly.
You know, we don't need to keep pushing that savior complex
Okay.
on folks, because people don't need saving, people need resources.
Yeah.
So it's
They
that
need solutions. Yeah.
community building part first, that community outreach team. Um, that's the first thing that reduces harm, because then
Mhm.
people are able to come in. They feel safe with you, with your organization, with the workers, and so they can ask for other things that they may need.
That's good. That's good. Jose said, "Yeah, I tell people that how I was able to make a change in me is that I got my apartment first, and then a good job at the National Harm Reduction Coalition. Then I took care of the drug. I was not able to do any of it without my apartment, though. That's so true. And
Hmm.
and even as we just said, being in community, we have, like we talked a few moments ago, that there's a whole lot of shelters, but then they have to leave. There's the barriers to get in, or even just to be able to, have somewhere to lay. But then with mutual aid and community response, it helps us to push and do this a lot better and a
Hmm.
lot smoother. Because, and like you said, even with our here at Kentucky Harm Reduction, our three pillars are engage, educate, and then empower. But you can't do it if you can't educate nor empower if you have not first gained a relationship, like you said. And neither can we go out here even and
Hmm.
just show up and we got these big white vans with signs on them and all of that. And but now that we created that relationship and engaged with them, and then just as we're engaging, we sliding little stuff in at a time, and to be able to make sure that we are gaining exactly what they're needing, but also going away with something also.
Hmm.
um Anything you want to add to that before we go to the next one?
Um, no, well, the one thing is that is what other organizations do, what other people do, come to our communities
Hmm.
right before their data is due, just to boost their
Right.
numbers. They come in
Right.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, National HIV Testing Day. They get their testing and then they're gone, because they just use us as demographics, as
Ooh,
numbers.
now that's okay. They like those numbers. What's up, Sharita?
Hey, Shrina!
Okay, Sharita's in here. All right, so listen. All right, so we talked about lane one. So, community level solutions. So, practical plus local. So, I want to talk about a second lane, and that's in program and build solutions, what we can create. And so, what programs should exist that don't or need strengthening? What programs you think?
So this is okay. I'm just gonna fire like
Okay,
directly at the mouth.
listen, we
Is
real raw and
we
direct here.
need showers, right? I
Okay,
When I was at BLM, I went ahead and purchased showers for the community. I think maybe a year ago,
okay.
and it was very much frowned upon, because why are you getting these two big old shower units that we could
Uh-huh.
use for something else? What ended up happening is that a couple months later, so over
Mm-hmm.
the summer, the pipes in Patterson broke, the water lines.
Oh wow.
People were left in Patterson without water for like 2 weeks. People couldn't shower, people couldn't cook, people couldn't do anything, but they still had to go to work and present and do whatever.
Right. I'll be losing it.
That those two shower units helped hundreds of people in the city
Wow.
shower every single day. We were there from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Wow.
nonstop getting people to showers. It's these little things that
Yeah.
when we hear harm reduction right now, it's so watered down. You're just
Mm-hmm.
thinking about substance use.
Yeah.
But there are so many harms our community members are experiencing that also need to be taken into consideration. And you need to think about like, you don't shower a couple of days, you might not feel the best, you might get into something else.
Yeah.
Yes, I did lose my on a report. And so those programs, those things are not usually funded. I had to
Right.
fight to get that approved for me to purchase it.
Wow.
Because they're like, well, that's not, it doesn't fall. Yes, it does fall. And then it does fall under the scope. And then it ended up being exactly what the community needed because the city didn't have showers to offer,
Right.
but we had two big old beautiful
Yeah.
shower units that
That's
hundreds of people were able to use.
that's truly amazing. That really is, and even with just the showering, one of the things along with the showering, but also here, we experiencing people not being able to just simply use the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
That is such a vital part because I mean, people when I gotta go, I gotta go, and so
And I
you
might
know.
get angry if I don't go.
Listen, you hear me? And I'm talking about real angry. And I'm gonna have quite a few choice words to say if you don't let me use the bathroom. If you don't let me use the bathroom, and so I went in a few months ago, and I was at one of this Jamaican spot that I love to eat at, and they ended up letting one this homeless guy come in. He had this little book bag, and what made me smile and what keeps me going there is that the owner she reached behind when he came in. He nodded, she nodded, and then she let him gave him a bag over the counter, and he went into the restroom and took care of his needs. And all she said
That's
was, "Make sure
beautiful.
you know what to do after you finish." That was so amazing to me. Like,
Let me tell you something. A lot of times, and because, you hear it all the time, is, everyone leaves everything dirty. It's, look at the tracks, look at this, look at that. People, people have no choice because
right?
if you treat someone like, you treat me like a dog, I might bite,
No, for real.
right? And so if you treat people with dignity and if you give people a clean take it. I
uh-huh.
think that's something that we see with the overdose centers in New York. They're
Okay,
so beautiful, they're so clean. It's not what people would think of
right.
that are not in this field that a place where people use substances looks like because they're used to seeing the tracks or behind cars, but it's because people have no choice and they have to do it in secrecy and like in the middle of crap. But
Yeah,
if you give people a safe space and you treat people with dignity, why would you assume people are going to act like animals or leave anything dirty?
right. And then on top of that, if you, first of all, the bathroom's supposed to be clean anyhow. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
stop there. Okay.
Right.
The bathroom is supposed to be clean in an establishment anyhow. And so as we even Jose said, you paint someone as a villain constantly,
Mm-hmm.
eventually they will willingly step into that role. That's so
I'm one of
true.
those.
Okay, listen. Don't tempt me with a good time, okay?
Right, right. Listen, I know that my mercies renew every day.
Every
So
day,
don't play
listen.
with me because I will take it there.
Okay. So as we and so program and building solutions, what can we create? So what would you build first if resources showed up tomorrow? What would you build?
If resources showed up tomorrow, I got you. I would have a house. It would
Okay.
be a full running harm reduction drop-in center,
Okay.
right? It would have a place for people's pets because a
Okay.
lot of people don't go into cert treatments or shelters or whatever because they can't allow pets. I
Okay.
would have a kitchen. I would have a shower. I would have like a spa place because just because you're unhoused does not mean that you don't get to feel nice. So the
That
same way I like to go every now and then to Ulta and get
part.
a facial, my participants will get a facial. There would
Uh-huh.
be makeup for the people that want to do makeup, a barber on staff, a hair braider, everything to make a person feel whole. Everything I want, and that is how I when I develop programs, when organizations reach out to me to develop their program or help build them up, I always think of I do not do anything or provide anything for another person that I would not use myself.
That part. That part.
Anything that I would say I want, everyone else deserves.
That's dope.
So that's what I would have. I would have a full house with a kennel and a coffee shop.
Listen.
It would be, but that's how you then get that person to the next step because you make them feel like a person rather than constantly a battered dog.
Yeah. And see, and I love all of that. First of all, if I ever get in the bind, I know where I'm coming. Okay. And listen, it would be, I would definitely along those same lines. I would definitely, I feel you on that because if you're, first of all, if we're trying to teach somebody something, but then don't have all of the necessary things or amenities to go along with it. What's the use of telling them about it or
Mhm.
even painting the picture if we can't provide it?
Right.
And so so listen, I pray daily that funding and more resources come open. But until then, we listen as harm reductionists, we know how to pivot real good. I ain't never played basketball, but I know how to pivot real good. Okay.
I didn't even know basketball people pivot, but
Yeah.
yes, I'm with you.
Listen, I mean, just as smooth as they pivot, because once you get into that posture,
Hmm.
you can only move just that one leg. You can't move both. You gotta pivot and you gotta utilize one. And so that's where you see them kind of spinning around on, doing that little on one leg thing because we have to if we don't as even as the black and brown community we know how to pivot,
Hmm.
we know show enough how to pivot, okay, because listen my mom
We ain't had no
when
choice.
didn't have not one choice. Listen, the can of pork and beans and hot dogs was the best pivot I knew, okay. Listen, we definitely we definitely know how to pivot. So as we transition into the third lane, so policy and system solutions. And so Jose said he calling my bluff.
He's always starting something,
Okay,
okay? He's
everywhere.
always starting something. Jeez.
So okay, lane three is policy and system solutions. So what needs to change? And so my first question is, what policies or funding priorities actually save lives? What
Well,
policies or funding priorities actually save lives? And I love the giggle after. Okay.
so obviously we know harm reduction, anything that funds harm reduction, anything that would fund HIV care prevention,
Hmm.
that saves lives. However,
Hmm.
but the problem is that we're seeing is that is exactly where they're cutting everything out of,
Definitely.
right? And the
Definitely.
reason why they're cutting everything out of is very strategic. It's because the black and brown communities are the most affected by these two things. Right. Well, we continue to hear all these powers that be tell us, oh, overdoses are going down. No, 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 they're going down in for
In y'all
for
in y'all
them.
neighborhood. In y'all neighborhood.
but we are still dying at a high rate.
High rate.
We still don't have accessibility to these resources. And so if these resources exist but we don't have access, they might as well not exist,
Listen.
right? Um that's one, but as far as like what we need to be doing to get it, I serve on the opioid council for New Jersey. We
Hmm.
need to stop being afraid to ask for money. We need to stop trying to model what other places have done and know what works best for our communities and trust ourselves that we are the experts in our community.
Definitely.
Right? We need to go to these hearings and listen to where the money is being taken out of and where
Okay.
it's being repurposed. What we see in New Jersey, at least, I'm gonna tell you what happened in New Jersey if you don't already know. They took $45 million from the opioid settlement funds and they threw it to the hospitals. And when I mean they threw it like it was money to a stripper. No strings attached, no deliverables, no questions asked. It's just here's $45 million from the opioid settlement fund, which is so inappropriate because they did not even run it down by the board, the council,
uh,
right? So what we saw then is in the moment a lot of places riled together and we all went up, but once people get mad, you get mad for a little bit and then you move on to the next thing because unfortunately that's the climate that we're in. But we then had to go, and we're still fighting it. We're probably not going to get it back, but we are fighting to set that precedent so that other states don't experience that and so that it doesn't happen again in New Jersey. But what I will say to any organization, any community member, even if you're not part of an organization, is show up to the hearings, show up to when they're saying they want recommendations, throw in your recommendation, because if you don't, a white person is going to say something, they're going to speak it all nicely, and then that's going to get funding.
mm,
But they don't know what's good for our communities. We do. No one knows New Jersey more than a New Jerseyan. No
okay.
one knows Patterson more than a Pattersonian. So we shouldn't have people from other places coming into our communities to tell us what works for us because they've studied this and that. We're not subjects to be studied.
Right.
Our communities are real people with real problems, and we have real solutions to address all those things. We don't need outsiders to come in.
No, for real. Jose, the Sharita mentioned that our funding went to law enforcement.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I mean, they don't need no more police cars. They don't need them. I mean, y'all paying them to do what? Y'all,
Not only that, but police are reactive, not proactive.
that part.
So unless something happens, it's kind of like when you have an attorney on retainer. You pay them $10,000 a month just so that if something happens,
Hmm.
they pull through. Is the same thing with police, except that if they feel threatened, they will shoot them. They will shoot
No,
us,
and that
and then
listen,
we dead, and nothing happens except time paid leave.
and it's swept up under the rug, and
Mm-hmm.
then they can go and now they can go move somewhere else and be on their squad. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Jose mentioned that also we as community need to stop allowing outsiders to service our community. They don't know what we need, but somehow they still get the spotlight. Whole time our community burning wilder. That's wild. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Listen. So, what's a popular solution that doesn't work and why? What's a popular solution that
All
doesn't
right, don't
work?
cancel me.
Okay.
Everybody that does harm reduction, do not cancel me.
Listen, I
It's a
got to that.
fake idea of what harm reduction is.
Okay.
And why I say that. Because we're all focused. I will speak just for where I serve mostly, which is New Jersey.
Okay.
What I've seen in the last couple of like 2 years is everyone is like fentanyl testing strips, da.
Hmm.
Love it, right?
Hmm.
I wish that would have been a thing a couple of years, like 5 years ago. Because by this time, people are looking for fentanyl.
Right.
People want to almost overdose.
They're walking up. Hey,
Right.
where
They'll
that
get mad
fat at?
if it's not what they if it's not that.
Yeah.
So those there are certain things, certain approaches that we're taking in this field that make us as providers feel like we're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows you the disconnect that it is that we have with the community outside,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they what listen, the amount of fentanyl testing strips I've seen thrown around, because that's not what people don't want right now is that meta
Metaltomidine.
that and xylazine. Those
Yeah.
are the two testing strips we need to have because fentanyl, to be honest,
They done got used to it.
they want it.
They want it. They
So no,
want it.
and also no one I've never seen in all my years someone be like, oh shit, this got fentanyl. Let me chuck this and go. It don't happen.
No. No.
So what we need is to what do people not want? Not what you as a provider
Mm-hmm.
don't want out here, but what does the community?
Yeah.
What are they fighting against? What are they trying to not have? That that is if we can change our practices as harm reductionists and really focus and listen to the community and lean in and always think of they're the experts, there are trainers, they're
Yeah.
teaching us, there are program developers.
Yeah.
That's when harm reduction is going to, because again we are being watered down.
Definitely. Definitely.
So yeah,
And,
that's what
and
I have.
and this is live practice. This is living. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's living, it's going to continue, and it has its ups and downs, and it has its twists and turns. It has all of the above, but again, that pivot is where, even with us, we now have metaltomidine and
Mm-hmm.
xylazine and the fentanyl, and we give and we talk and we engage. Literally, we have had several cases already here, and if it's not prominent in your neighborhood, you may not know that
Mm-hmm.
if you're not testing, if you're not providing the tools
Mm-hmm.
to be able to test. Go
And
ahead.
it's not just providing the tools, it's also teaching people how to use the tools.
There we go.
Because you know that them testing strips is not user like they're not they look like pregnancy tests, but they're also not like pregnancy tests because what
Right.
is it? Two lines is negative
Negative,
and one
right.
line is positive, which is kind of like the opposite.
The
So
opposite.
it's not just putting it in a kit or handing it to somebody, it's walking
Mhm.
someone through it to say, this is how you use it
Right.
so you can use it effectively, and this is how you should check your substances. You don't need to use something, you can just put, swab the little bag.
Mhm.
It's being again in tune with community and not having that savior's complex of I'm the provider so I know better. It's
Right.
okay, let's sit down. What does it look like when you have, I like to tell people when you're having a good time because you're about to have a good time.
Not for
So
real.
what does it look like when you're about to have a good time?
Definitely.
What's the setting? All right, let's go through it. And so that changes everything. That's where the strips always work.
Always. Definitely. Sharita mentioned in the comment section that our test strip distribution went up and naloxone has gone down. And so
Mm-hmm.
they are using and checking their substances. Did she also mention that stop saying everyone needs treatment? Not
Mm-hmm.
everyone wants that. They want to use and not die. If they want treatment, we link them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Jose Jose says I definitely had to take on fence strips. We don't need them. Harm reduction messaging is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Always use slowly. If it feels or tastes funny, take a third. Listen, listen. This is all truth. So real quickly before we get out of here, so I want to ask you three high impact prompts. So just real quickly, like 20 seconds or so on each one. If you had 250,000 tomorrow, what would you build first and why?
My house.
Okay. Wow.
People have a safe space. Hopefully they get to sleep in there. Have all their basic needs met.
Okay.
Food, showering, bathroom use, shelter, and then you get to bring a pet. Why would I not want more pets around? Did you not see my dog everywhere?
Okay, you was fussing at Benji earlier, and I did not like it. Number two, let's see. How do we keep people engaged after the moment passes?
You don't judge them. You don't show pity. Don't You have to kind of shut down your emotions there.
Okay.
Right? Because it's easy for us to be like, "Oh my god, let me none of that," because that pity is being served, not not making someone feel pitiful or like they need help is part of
Mm-hmm.
treating a person with dignity. So don't make them feel bad
Exactly.
already and make it about yourself.
Because I'm gonna shut down real quickly. Okay.
Right. Now at this point, I wasn't gonna die. You stupid, get away from me.
Oh my goodness. All right, number three. What is Where is the biggest return? Prevention, intervention, or recovery? And what does it look like in practice?
I think that that is dependent on the provider as a person. What do you find the most reward on? Me, because they all have their reward. Seeing a
Mhm.
person live, period,
Period.
is the greatest reward,
That part.
right? So it could be prevention. It depends on it really depends, I think, on the provider. For me, I would say intervention, because I don't always get to see a person before. I
Okay.
don't always get to see the person after. I know that me myself, I'm part of the person's story in the worst part of their life sometimes. So
Okay.
I know that once they're out of my, I do not reach out unless they come back to me because I could be a trigger. So for me, I'm going to say intervention.
Smart. That's smart. I like that. And even for that, and I totally agree, because of the simple fact I had to live this out. I had to live this out. On Valentine's Day marked my 3 years of sobriety. Okay, and
Aw,
so yes,
congrats.
okay, yes, made it another year, and I'm even more unstoppable this time. Okay, but the living it out and what it looks like, it can look so very different in each case.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be, and it'll be on different types of level.
Right.
And so even with that, putting it into practice. And so listen, they're going at it in the comment section. Listen, thank God.
Sorry, I start crying because I think a lot of my participants that have moved on and are thriving, that I know that I can't reach out to just because I may be the trigger. But I
Yeah,
don't listen. I'm a stalker. I have a fake Instagram page and I will stalk them.
you
But
love
I
trolling.
maintain because I could be the trigger.
Yeah, but I control and you not know it's me. Okay.
Right.
Listen, Bree. Oh my gosh. Listen, we're winding down. This has been absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that you came to talk with me today. Oh my goodness. I love you so very much.
I love you too. This was fun. This was the quickest hour I've ever had.
Oh, listen, and when we
I
having
know.
fun, listen, and when we got good chats going on, okay, we know how to get into the chats, okay?
Oh God, look at him. He's starting trouble. He's asking you.
Ah, oh, the biggest return. Recovery, because once it starts, it works if you let it work for you. And so I think the biggest return that for myself has been recovery, because I never experienced the intervention until I was in year 9. And there was no prevention for me, because that happened during my mother passing away and dealing with metastatic breast cancer for 4 years. And so it went into overdrive. So yeah, recovery would be the biggest return for me. Oh my goodness, this has been absolutely amazing. Bree, tell the people how they can contact you or get if they need your consulting and harm reduction. How can they reach out to you?
You can reach out to me. You can send me an email. It's breeazanato@gmail.com. Also, I'm like on Instagram or TikTok because I'm trying to do the TikTok thing.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, let's figure out what solutions work best for your community. I think that's something that's very important. People don't understand that what works in, again, I'll say Patterson will not
Hmm.
work in Kentucky
Right.
or like in Maine somewhere. Also, I don't know
Hmm.
but you know what I mean? So it really is
Yeah.
about knowing your community. And you
Hmm.
guys are the experts, but definitely reach out to me and then we can figure out how to move forward. Especially if you guys are dealing with anything in regards to the opioid settlement dollars.
Okay.
Learn from the show that was New Jersey. Did not
No.
say the full word, but
Okay.
okay.
Listen.
I don't
Well,
know how much I could cuss on here. That's why.
listen, we get down to the nitty gritty here, okay? Listen, we thank you here for joining us, Bree. I'm gonna put you in the backstage. Don't go nowhere, okay?
Okay.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining us, Bree. Oh my goodness. Oh, y'all, this was it's always wonderful here. Listen, I don't know what else to say to you guys because this has been absolutely amazing. I'm glad that listen, my stomach is touching my back. Uh, listen, as we close out, as we close out this segment, as we close out this month of Black History again, this is Black History. Let me get out the way and Black Future. We are it. Listen, you are a part of it. You have a part to play in it. And listen, if we do it together, everybody will say and do and live up to what really is in your heart. If you live up to and do what is the next best thing, I promise you, you'll reach every goal. You'll achieve everything that is meant to be. Listen, we want everybody, like Bree said, we want everybody to live. So listen, y'all, this has been another wonderful segment of By Any Means podcast. I know Sharita left me today, but she's in the comments. But listen, this was totally amazing. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Make sure that you like and share, subscribe, tag somebody, share this with somebody. Continue to engage, educate, and empower. Listen, this has been another great episode of By Any Means, and happy Black History Month. Listen, y'all do the great things. Continue the work. See you next time.